Oh hi there, Happy New Year's and such. Sorry for the lack of videos, but I had like the nastiest flu in the history of mankind. I was constantly snorting and sneezing and coughing. So hot. And while I was at it, I was thinking that if there is a God, then my flu is definitely one of those things that suggest he must be a really funny guy. In a very fucked up way. And I say a guy because the misogyny of all the holy books I ever came across makes it pretty unlikely for God to be a woman. Now, if the holiness of those texts was a fraud, then it would make sense. They were written by men in times where women were considered proper and inferior and all that shit. But if they are really the word of God, then he's just an asshole. A funny asshole, I can give him that. The very concept of life as it exists on this planet is like the main thing pointing to that. I'm bored. What do? I know. I shall create life. And then I'm gonna make it eat itself. I mean, think about it. If God is all-powerful, then he could have created life in a way that it would sustain itself with just like solar energy or something. He's God, he can do anything. But instead, he made all these wonderful creatures all around the earth, adapted to different environments with very different appearances and traits and behavior, and made them eat each other. What would be the purpose of that? And most importantly, why enable them with the capacity of feeling pain? Some of them spending their entire lives running, trying to avoid being eaten alive, and the others having to spend their life running after their prey and fighting each other for it. Evolution can explain all this very well, but God? What's his excuse? It always made me cringe when I heard theists trying to justify all the human suffering that's going on. With the original sin, you know, that God punished us for Adam and Eve. But I have never, ever heard the justification for all the suffering of the non-human creatures. I mean, what the shit did they do? I just have to conclude that God made everything like this because this is just his idea of entertainment. Take the concept of parasites, for instance. This ant here has been infested with spores from a parasitic fungus that has infiltrated his brain. This is basically a zombie ant. After it dies, the fungus will start growing from inside its head and then infect all the other ants that happen to be near it. I gave this example with the ant just because I don't want to disturb you with images of what parasites can do to baby deers or something cute like that. The point is that if this is indeed the result of an intelligent mind who created all these complex little horrors with intention, then this just has to be God's version of dark comedy. I'm gonna design a fungus that grows from an ant's brain. I mean, seriously? As for us, you know, his most brilliant creation. Just look at the male genitalia. I didn't actually mean to look at it now, you perverts. But really, why put it on the outside of the body if not to make fun of you? Y'all should see your faces when you get kicked in the balls. Actually, I think that the human anatomy is full of anecdotal evidence of God's twisted sense of humor. Okay, so now that I made the human eye, I'm gonna create, conjunctivitis. And also astigmatism. Hyperopia, myopia, cataracts. I'm gonna make women bleed from their vaginas. I'm gonna create orgasms and make them last for like 5 seconds. And now, for the digestive system, yeah, I very much doubt that his intention behind all this was to just punish us because that bitch ate an apple. And since we're on this, I also think that the idea of hell, at least in some monotheistic religions, is yet another example of pretty elaborated dark humor. So God, who knows everything, creates this hell place, where he would throw the majority of people who are also his creation, and then commands them to worship him in order to be saved. If you worship and obey me, I'm going to save you from a place of eternal torture that I myself have created, knowing that you will probably end up in there. Oh, and you also have to believe that I did it because I love you, and I am all good. Comedic genius! As a bit of a side note, don't you find it a little bit ironic that all these bands that play religious-inspired music are just so goddamn awful? I mean, imagine spending eternity in heaven listening to Creed. Or, you know... Oh, give me that Christian side hug! That Christian side hug! Give me that Christian side hug! Just let me burn! Anywho, I hope your holidays were lovely and you were not sick. And please let me know in the comments what are your New Year's resolutions. My only resolution is to not have 2010 again. I also want to announce that the 3rd chapter of my audiobook The Unreasonable God is finally up online. You will find the links in the below bar. And as always, it is available to download for free. And as always, if you do want to make a donation for it, I will really appreciate it. And I think it will also make God laugh less enthusiastically for a while. Yeah. Bye, 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 bye.